So for the past couple of years, there's been a new type of freelance work that has become really popular. And if you're not aware, there are a lot of companies that are now hiring freelancers to help evaluate AI models as AI gets more and more mainstream. So you may have seen advertisements on LinkedIn or on other social medias from companies like Mercor or Pareto, Outlier, Alignerr, Invisible Technologies. There are a lot of them advertising opportunities for AI evaluators. And you may have even wondered if it was a real, authentic opportunity. I know that I did. But the work sounded intriguing, and you get paid to interact with AI technologies to basically test it out, rate its responses, identify mistakes, and in a way, you're helping to make the next generation of AI better. But is this actually a good freelance opportunity for you to pursue? If you're wondering this, then this is the video for you. I'm Jennifer. I'm from the Freelance Shift. I help aspiring freelancers build profitable businesses using modern strategies, AI, and other proven systems. So for me, I'm doing this video because I am getting asked quite frequently, what is it actually like working for a company that evaluates an AI model? Many of the people in my inner circle know that I started doing this work back in May. So I guess it's been, May, June, July, August. It's been about 4 months for me right now, depending on when you're watching this video. And I think that it can be a great addition to your freelance business. But I also don't think that it's the perfect job that some people on social media make it out to be. So let me explain a little bit more. So what does the work actually involve? Well, without getting into the details of any specific company or project work that I'm doing, the work generally involves helping to improve AI systems. And the work is obviously dependent on the assignment that you receive, but you might be evaluating different AI responses, comparing different AI answers, writing prompts, reviewing the reasoning, or determining which outputs are stronger based on detailed guidelines. And even with the limited experience that I've had over the last 4 months, I've learned that every project is a little bit different, but overall, the goal is pretty much always helping to make the AI models better. Now, there are many, many things that I like about having this role. In this role, I sort of look as a supplement to my other work. I still personally have all of the clients that I was juggling before. I've just added this in. It's pretty much a 10 to 20 hour a week commitment for me right now. But what I like most about it is that it's truly independent. It's probably my favorite aspect of it, because unlike many of the freelance projects that I work on, no one's scheduling meetings with me. No one's asking me to be online at a specific time. It's basically, if there's work available in the system that we get access to, I can usually decide when I want to do it, whether that be 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. So I can really work this role around my schedule. And some days I just work for an hour. But then when I have other chunks of time or on a weekend where I'm not really working with my other clients, sometimes I'll spend several hours. It's one of those things that really does have a level of independence that fits my freelance business really well. I know not everyone would like that aspect, but it really works for me. And I say the reason that people may not like it is because there is an important caveat. You can only work when there is work available. Now, the projects that I've been on, I'm lucky they're fairly consistent, but there have been some dry times. And then there have just been certain times where maybe I want to do work at 7 o'clock at night, and so does everyone else. So there isn't currently work available in the queue at that point. So it's, sometimes there are plenty of tasks and sometimes there aren't. So while the flexibility is absolutely fantastic, it's definitely tied to project availability. Now, as I already briefly mentioned, the second thing I really like about it is that I can fit it around my other clients because of the flexibility. It's not in competition with the clients that I've been servicing in some cases for years. I can deliver trainings during the day still without a problem. I can still work on my instructional design and training projects. But if I have that extra time in the evening, I can log on and complete some AI evaluation tasks. And it works well as another income stream for someone who is now has 2 children in college. So I'm not looking at it as replacing my primary business. In my situation, I'm looking at as something supplemental. The other thing that's a great bonus is that you're going to learn a lot about AI. This work is really going to force you to think critically about AI responses. And over time, you're going to notice patterns that you can apply to your other work or daily AI use. I feel like I've become a better prompt writer. I've been able to better recognize high quality AI output compared to AI slop. And that knowledge has helped me in almost every other area of my business, from creating the training that I create to writing content for that training. Now, the other pro is that it's relatively easy to get started. So because these companies are so focused on AI, my experience has been that many of them use the AI interview systems for you when you apply to get this work. So you may have mixed feelings on that. I know that I initially did, but I can say that I've been successful. I did the AI interviews and I did actually get work from it. And I'll say the process was a little different because I actually never spoke to a human. It was all automated messages that came from the company. Now, I know it's a legitimate company, and I can tell you that I've had a really good positive experience with them, but I wasn't so sure when I first did it. So I definitely would do your research and make sure that you're dealing with a reputable company and that you're also comfortable with that type of interaction where there is a lot of back and forth automated messaging that occurs. But once you've accepted a project, you basically get the instructions to follow. You follow them independently. Many of the companies that I've done work for on different projects have a Slack channel or something comparable where you can go and you can enter your questions, and there are humans that do interact in the Slack channel. But the Slack channel is obviously also available to search so that you can easily find answers to your questions. And of course, there are onboarding manuals and manuals that are specific to the project that explain various things. So are there any downsides? Well, I'll say yes. As I mentioned, the work isn't 100% as consistent as I'd like it to be. Now, I don't have any big complaints with that. I'm still able to get my hours in. There are just a couple times here and there that I log on and I wish that there was work to be done and there is not. So that really is the biggest drawback, because most of the time the work is plentiful and I am able to get it. But because of this, I wouldn't personally recommend that you use this as your primary source of income. As I mentioned, I'm looking at this as a supplemental source of income. So I am still able to pay my bills even when there's a downturn in the time. So just something to keep in mind. And if you've listened to my other videos, you know that I have this big philosophy about not putting all my eggs in one basket. Now, the second con is just that the work itself, yes, it's interesting in many ways. As I mentioned, I've learned a lot, but it's not that exciting. This is definitely not the most exciting work that I do. And I know that may surprise you, but that's basically how I feel about it. I do enjoy the work. I like seeing how the AI is evolving. And my background is mathematics and technology, so I enjoy that analyzing type action of analyzing the responses and solving different problems. But I wouldn't say that it's really that exciting. Most of the tasks are fairly repetitive. You basically read the guidelines, follow the guidelines, you read the responses, and you type in your evaluations. So for me, it's engaging enough to keep my attention, but it's not the kind of work that leaves me thinking, I can't wait to do this all day tomorrow. In fact, I don't think that I could do this. Well, obviously, if I needed to, I could do this as a full-time job, but I think I need something that is a little bit more exciting in some ways to counter this. This is a great way of, for me, creating balance in my work. The third con is that I don't have any control over this process because the companies involved are basically determining what projects are available, how the work's assigned, the guidelines you follow, the whole review process, and when the projects begin and end. And I can say that there is a lot of change in this industry so that things really do pivot very, very quickly. More so than I find with some of my other freelance clients. And then I guess that you could say that the fourth con, if this was something that was relevant to you, is that it doesn't necessarily build your own brand. Because one thing that I have really strived to do over the years that I've done freelancing is establish that network and build a certain reputation for myself so that I get repeat work from the people who I've already worked with. But in this case, it's more autonomous, it's more independent. I'm not networking with people. I'm basically, reading manuals and implementing what I read and reading announcements and other messages on a Slack channel. And another thing that's somewhat limiting with these, as you've probably noticed from these videos, is that these companies do have fairly strict confidentiality agreements, which I completely understand. But because of this, you can't really showcase the client that you're working for or the work products that you've done. That's something that's not allowed. So you're not creating tangible work that you can create. You can just tell people about what you've done sort of in a similar way to what I've done on this video. So that too is another reason that I would say it's a good supplement to a freelance business, but not a complete freelance business. So overall, I'm glad I'm doing this work. It gives me another income stream. It really keeps my AI skills sharp. And since I am predominantly doing AI training right now, I feel like it's really in my lane. It's really in my wheelhouse. And it's keeping me moving in the forward direction that I want. As I mentioned, I like that it fits around my consulting schedule, and I generally enjoy being part of this industry that's changing so quickly. But would I want it as my full-time job? For the reasons that I mentioned earlier, probably not. But would I recommend it as a part of a diversified freelance business? Absolutely. So you all know, in summary here, is that one thing I often talk about is not putting all your eggs in one basket. In this type of work, fits into that philosophy perfectly. It's another stream of income, another way to stay current with AI. And just my recommendation is go into it with realistic expectations. The flexibility that is featured or showcased in many of these advertisements is completely real. The independence is real, but there is definitely a degree of uncertainty along how long the projects are going to last and how many hours you'll actually be able to work on that project. So if you understand that going in, I think it's going to be a great addition for you. If that's something that would be too anxiety producing for you, then that may not be the role for you. So if you've done this kind of evaluation work too, I'd love to hear about your experiences and if you align with that. So thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.